In this video, we're going to look at a few logic functions. The first is just the time equals now. So if we look at now, it's going to simply return whatever the current time is on the computer. So you can see that this is 3:33 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, sometimes this may not be exactly up to date. If you just refresh your screen, just like we do it and so forth, you can just click on that and it'll give you the most recent time. So you see it was actually 2 minutes off. So it's 15:35, but that should be the instant time as it goes and looks at the accepted online time. The second is the if statement. So if you're doing an if statement, if gives you the option to return a statement for, or some text if it's true, or some other alternate text if the conditions are false. So, for example, here we're going to look at the contents of E2. And we're going to see if the contents of E2 is greater than 70, we're going to give the student a pass. If, however, it's 70 or less, that would be a fail. That's just the way that this is set up right here. So if you click at it right here, there again is a formula. If the contents of E2 is greater than 70. So we can see the contents of E2 is greater than 70, so that's going to return a pass. Now, if I change that value, let's go ahead and put 69. Okay. Then you can see that the term return fails. So you can enter the contents of a cell based on some criteria. So obviously you can use this in a multitude of different scenarios where you're returning content based upon certain criteria. So this is a very simple formula right here, if a particular cell, but you can imagine there's more complex calculations and comparisons you could do. The second logic function we want to use here is called the and just basically returns a true or a false statement, depending upon if the criteria are met or not. So, for example, this one says, if you have to use the term and, implying that if two things are true, then you give a true, and or multitude, a string of things are true, give a true, and if one of those is not true, you give a false. So, for example, if I say equals and, again, the context is if E2 is less than 90 and E3 is less than 70, then we're going to turn the true statement. So we're going to look at E2 up here, and we're going to say, okay, well, E2 is right here. E2 is less than 90. Let's go ahead and change it to 91. Change it to 91, you notice that now changed to false, because false is what is used there when the conditions or one of the conditions is not met. And so we can see that E2 is no longer less than 90. So these two conditions must both be true to return true. If one of them or more of them is not accurate or not correct, then it's going to turn the term false. So this can help us start to categorize entries into a table to automate whether they meet certain criteria or not.